Hey friends, I'm Cynthia Top, and give me just 1 second here. We're going to be talking today about money. And while I just, talk quietly among yourselves there, um, while I figure out, oops, come on, I need to get to where I can share this in another spot as well. Always takes a second here. Okay, share. So we're going to be talking today about money, about magical money in 2018. And as soon as I share this, it's just such a pain you can't queue it all up. But here we go. Okay. All right. Yay. So, magical money in 2018. So I am Cynthia Top, and I am a life coach that teaches people how to create their magical lives. And I'm also the host of a Facebook group called How to Create a Magical Life, which is completely free. And I'd love it if you want to join me. I will put the link to that in the comments when I'm done here. So today we are going to talk about money. It's a great subject. When I am, excuse me, when I am talking with people who are in the world of trying to create their magical lives, who maybe know a lot about the law of attraction, who have thought about what it means to create our own reality, who are busy trying to attract or receive or manifest things, I often get this question: why is it that it's so hard to attract or manifest or create money? Why is it that we're able to manifest other things in our lives, and maybe you found a great place to live, or you manifested a wonderful new friend in your life, or whatever, but somehow so many of us so often get stuck when it comes to attracting more money into our lives? Why is it? So that's what I want to talk about today. I want you to walk away from this live stream feeling like you know one of the main things that holds us back from manifesting money. So actually, in a couple weeks here, I am going to do a whole 1-hour webinar, a masterclass that, oops, sorry, I'm getting my mouse here. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do a 1-hour masterclass in a couple weeks here that is going to just be called Magical Money in 2018. And I'll be going into a lot more depth about this whole problem of what holds us back from creating money and why do we hold ourselves back. But I want you to walk away from this live stream today with the sense that you know exactly what it is that's holding you back. Maybe not the specifics, but you understand something about how this whole process works. And then, if you sign up for my webinar, we'll go into a whole bunch more depth. So I'll put the link to the webinar in the comments also. It's just howtocreateamagicallife.com. howtocreateamagicallife.com. So hop on over and sign up for that as we start talking about money and manifesting it and what gets in our way. So I want to start by telling you a story of my own story from the past about money. Now, some of you know that, if you've heard me talk a little bit about my story, I spent the years from when I was 17 until I was 40 in totally immersed in a very, very black and white brand of Christianity, where we had, the group I was part of had all the answers for everyone, and we went all over the world telling people that we had the only way to God. I've come to a much broader, much more inclusive place now. I've been out of that very intense group for more than a decade. And how I came out of that intense group, that's a story for another time. But I want to tell you a story about during that time I was part of this Christian group because I was working as a missionary. And as a missionary, we depended entirely on donations. We had to raise a lot of money, we had to do a lot of fundraising, and we depended on donations for our living expenses, for everything. And so money was always this huge struggle. I can't even guess how many hours and hours I spent during my missionary years praying for money, either praying by myself or praying out loud with groups of people. And those prayers were so desperate because we never had enough money. And when I say that, I really mean we didn't have enough. It wasn't like, for me now, I feel like, oh, sometimes I don't have enough money, but the money is always there. Back in those days for me, the money wasn't there. And so we prayed these desperate, desperate prayers, and we would quote verses from the Bible back to God, like as though he didn't know what he had said. But we would quote these verses like how God says he'll take care of the flowers and the birds. And we'd be like, God, you promised, you have to do this. You have to come through for us. And we just had such a desperation about money. But the amazing thing was, I can say in all of those years, the money always came through. There was never a time that I was hungry. There was never a time that I didn't have something I needed in a vital sort of way. But there was this, so there were just amazing miracles of seeing money. And I can tell you some crazy ass miracles about money. I could tell you stories about being handed money by strangers, about finding money, about weird and completely unexpected inheritances. We, in those years that I was part of that group, we lived with this attitude that magic money would come to us, that we would miraculously receive money. And there was an element to it that was so cool, because I learned and then had reinforced over and over and over again this understanding that the divine had my back, that I would always be provided for, that the universe was looking out for me. I also learned tons about being generous and being generous with what little I had. So that was the good, really healthy side of this. But at the same time, unfortunately, another belief was being reinforced really deeply for me. And that was that, yes, God would always take care of the necessities, but I didn't deserve more than just those barest of necessities. I didn't deserve luxury. I didn't deserve treats. Or if I did, it was like the tiniest little, I only deserved the littlest smidge of a treat. And I want to tell you a story that shows both sides, both of these beliefs, that God would provide at the same time as I only deserve the bare minimum. So during my missionary years, there was one evening or late afternoon that I was hanging out with two of my housemates at the mission center, and we were talking about how we'd really love that evening to be able to rent a movie. And this was back in the days when you actually went to a video store and rented a movie. And so we were saying we'd really love to be able to rent a movie. And then I was like, oh, I would just love to have Dr. Pepper and popcorn. And my two friends mentioned some other treats, and they really were treats for us, because at that point we weren't spending money on anything like that. And so we looked in our pockets or our wallets, And between the three of us, we probably had like the equivalent of $2 or $3, not enough for what we wanted to do. And then I can't remember which of us now, but one of the three of us suddenly had this sense, wow, I think God is saying we should go in the living room of this mission center and look under all the sofa cushions and see if we can find any money. So we went in there and we lifted all the sofa cushions, and we ended up finding like $7 or $8. And we were in a country where they have a couple of coins that are for larger, like one coin would be about the equivalent of maybe $3 now, or 3 or 4, and another one that would be a couple dollars. So we found several of these bigger coins. And when we put all our money together, we're like, oh my gosh, we have enough to go rent a movie and maybe get some treats. So we went to the video store and we went to the grocery store and we got our movie. And when we were in the grocery store, like when we were paying, whatever the amount we had, we were down to the last penny, but we were able to each get one of whatever the treats were that we had wanted so badly. For me, it was the Dr. Pepper and the popcorn. Now, and then we went back home and we watched our movie and we were so excited because God had provided for us, and that meant we were loved, we were cared for by the divine. So that was really wonderful, except that at the same time it reinforced for me this message that I only deserved a pittance. Yes, God would take care of my necessities, but if I was going to have a treat, a movie, and some snacks that I liked, that I just deserved just this little pittance. So both those messages were coming at me for the years that I was overseas, and got really deeply ingrained in me, so that when I was being coached by my coach just a couple months ago, we actually dredged up this belief that I've been holding all of these years that goes something like this. The divine will always, 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 without fail, provide for my basic needs. But I don't deserve anything beyond that. I don't deserve treats. I don't deserve luxury. I don't deserve ease in my finances. And when my coach was helping me pull this to the surface, it was really painful. I could see how much I was hanging on to that belief, that's how it worked for me. And she was trying to help me turn it around. And she asked me if it was true that I did deserve luxury and ease and treats and being able to spend some money on myself. And I couldn't even see it. That I got all hung up on this idea of deserve, the word deserve. Like, how can I deserve money when other people are poor and suffering? And I was so attached to that belief that I couldn't even see that there might be a different belief that could be more true. And because I've been so attached to that belief that, yeah, the universe, the divine will take care of my basic needs, but no more treats. Because I've been so attached to that belief now for like 25 years or something, I have been an incredible creator of that belief. I have created a life that I have never once not had my basic needs met. But I've also not been able to live in a flow of abundance, a flow of more than enough when it comes to money. Now, I've had a flow of abundance in all these other things in my life, over and over. Just endless flow of creativity, an endless flow of goodness in things like friends and relationships, and living in beautiful places. I've had an endless flow of those things. But have I been able to create an endless flow of more than enough money? No. I would feel like I'm doing better and better, and then no. And better, and then no. Because you see, I've created exactly what I believed. I've created a reality where, yes, the divine has always provided as much as I needed, but I don't deserve anything more than that. And when that belief came to the surface for me, like I said, it was really painful. It hurt me to hear that that is the lie that I've been hanging on to all this time. You see, we create out of these deeply held lies a lot of the times. Yes, I was holding on to a truth in there too, that the divine will provide for me for my basic needs. But I had the lie mixed in there, the two things together, that was so deeply held that that's what I created. There's been, over the years, a lot of stuff written about this idea that we create out of our minds, out of our thoughts. I don't buy it. We create from out of our souls, because that's where we hold these really deep beliefs. Beliefs about money like, I'm never going to get out of debt, or making money is always going to be a struggle, or like mine, I don't deserve to have luxury, or I can never charge what I'm worth for my services because people won't pay me. All of those are lies, and yet we believe them so deeply that that's what we create. The first step in turning our finances around is starting to see those lies. And I'm going to talk a whole lot more about that in this masterclass that I am offering, this webinar. Go to howtocreateamagicallife.com and it'll redirect you to the sign up page to register for the webinar. It's got all the info on there. It's completely free. So I'm going to be talking a lot more about what do we do with all these lies when we discover that we're holding on to them. Because it really sucks when you see, wow, I believe a lie. And I've created a life around that. So the first step is seeing the lie. But then what? What do we do when we've seen it? What do we do when we discover we're holding on to one of these lies? And again, this is just part one of this little bunch of live streams about money, magical money in 2018 that I'm going to be doing as a lead up to this webinar, where I'll be talking in detail about why we need to dissolve and disarm these lies and how we go about replacing these lies with truth. And I'll just say as well, the webinar is going to be recorded, so you'll be able to listen to it or watch it afterwards, watch a replay if you can't be on it live. But you do have to register, so go to howtocreateamagicallife.com, and I'll put that in the comments as soon as I'm done here. So you do have to register to be able to either watch it live or access the replays. And I'll be talking about what do we do with all these lies. So my little challenge to you is, over the next few days, as you're thinking about money, just to notice if you have a thought about money that's causing you suffering. Because I can guarantee that hiding in that thought that's causing you suffering is a lie about money. And when we're holding on to those lies, we're really powerful creators, and then we create this life all around us that's based on that lie. So that's the first step, the first little part here. I'm Cynthia Top, and register for the webinar at howtocreateamagicallife.com. Ciao for now.